A man hit the cold marble ground so hard that people screamed and stepped back in shock. His black championship belt slid across the pavement. Phones dropped from shaking hands. Tourists froze. The tomb guard never moved. Not even an inch. And the most terrifying part was this. Nobody understood what had just happened. Because only 3 seconds earlier the world-famous karate champion Ethan Cross had been smiling at the cameras while pointing at the silent guard and saying, "Watch this. I will make him react." The crowd laughed. Some people even started recording before anything happened because Ethan was not just another fighter. He was famous for challenge videos. Millions followed him online. Millions watched him walk into dangerous situations with a smile and leave with another victory. He had broken boards, defeated champions, won tournaments. And today he stood outside the sacred grounds with confidence burning in his eyes. Beside him his friends laughed while holding cameras. One of them said, "Bro, if you get the tomb guard to break his silence, this video will explode." Ethan smirked. "Easy. Very easy." Ahead of him the tomb guard walked slowly with perfect timing. Face calm. Eyes forward. Shoes striking the ground with absolute precision. People respectfully stood back and watched. Children whispered to parents. Tourists lowered their voices. Everyone knew one thing. You do not play games here. But Ethan only saw content. He only saw views. He stepped closer. One step. Then another. Then another. Some older man from the crowd suddenly shouted, "Son, stop right there." Ethan turned and laughed. "Relax, old man. I know what I am doing." But the old man's face became serious. Very serious. He stared at Ethan and said something that made a few people look nervous. "You have no idea who that guard used to be." Ethan smiled again. "Used to be? What does that even mean?" Then he took another step forward toward the tomb guard. And for the first time, the guard slowly turned his eyes toward Ethan. What do you think the old man meant when he said that sentence? And if you were standing there, would you tell Ethan to stop or keep going? Comment below, because what happened next shocked everyone watching. The crowd became strangely quiet. Even Ethan's friends stopped smiling for a second. The old man kept staring at him. His eyes never moved. Ethan laughed and shook his head like none of this mattered. "Come on, guys. Look at everybody acting like I am walking toward a lion." His friends laughed again and lifted their cameras. The tomb guard continued his perfect march. Step after step. No emotion. No reaction. Just discipline carved into human form. Ethan stretched his shoulders and cracked his neck. He loved attention. And now hundreds of eyes were locked on him. This was exactly where he wanted to be. He stepped closer and walked alongside the guard. People immediately started whispering. A woman covered her mouth. Someone said, "This guy is crazy." A father pulled his little son back. Ethan looked at the guard and smiled. Nothing. Not even a blink. He waved his hand in front of him. Still nothing. Then Ethan looked back at his camera and whispered, "Watch this. I am about to make history." The old man's face suddenly changed. He looked worried now. Not angry. Worried. He moved toward Ethan and grabbed his arm. "Listen to me, son. Years ago I served here. And I heard stories about one guard. Stories nobody forgot." Ethan slowly pulled his arm away. "Stories? Seriously?" The old man pointed toward the silent guard. "That man is different. People think he is just standing there protecting a place. But they do not know what he did before he came here." Ethan crossed his arms. "Okay, Grandpa, now I am curious. What did he do?" The old man swallowed hard. Then quietly said, "Special Forces. Combat instructor. Hand-to-hand expert. People said he could end a fight before others even realized it started. Ethan stared at the guard for a second. Then suddenly laughed harder than before. No way. That silent statue. People around him did not laugh. Not one person. Ethan looked around and noticed it. Then for the first time, his smile became a little smaller. But only for a second. Because pride is dangerous when cameras are recording. He turned back toward his audience and grinned. Looks like we just made this challenge more interesting. Would you still walk forward after hearing that story, or would you turn back? Comment below, because Ethan was seconds away from making the biggest mistake of his life. Ethan handed his sunglasses to his friend and rolled his shoulders again. The cameras followed every movement. His viewers loved moments like this. Danger. Ego. Big risks. He looked directly at the tomb guard and slowly stepped into his path. Gasps came from the crowd. The guard stopped. Absolute silence covered the area. Even the birds seemed to disappear. For the first time Ethan stood face to face with him. The difference felt strange immediately. On camera the guard had looked normal. Standing this close felt different. Much different. His eyes were calm. Too calm. No anger. No fear. No emotion at all. Ethan smiled and spoke loudly so everyone could hear. Come on man, give me something. Anything. Nothing. The guard did not move. Ethan circled around him like he was testing an opponent before a match. People started shaking their heads. One woman walked away because she did not want to watch anymore. Even Ethan's friends looked nervous now. One of them lowered the camera and whispered, "Bro, maybe stop." Ethan ignored him. He was too deep into it now. Too many people were watching. Too many cameras were recording. Then Ethan suddenly lifted his hands and dropped into a karate stance. The crowd instantly exploded with shouting. No, no, no. Stop. What are you doing? The old man's face turned white. Ethan smirked toward his camera. Guys, this is the moment. The moment everybody will remember. He moved closer. One step. Then another. The guard's eyes locked onto Ethan. Not angry. Not scared. Just focused. And somehow that was even more unsettling. Then the guard spoke. His voice was low and cold. First words anyone there had heard from him. Step back. Just 2 words. But Ethan's smile disappeared. Because those 2 words did not sound like a warning. They sounded like a final chance. Have you ever ignored a warning and regretted it later? Comment below, because Ethan was about to discover why some people should never be tested. Ethan stood frozen for a moment. Those 2 words hit harder than he expected. Step back. No shouting. No anger. Just calm certainty. The kind that made the crowd uncomfortable. His friends looked at each other nervously. One of them quietly said, "Bro, forget the video. Let's go." But Ethan looked around and saw something worse than fear. He saw people watching. Hundreds of them. Phones pointed at him. Waiting. And his pride started fighting his common sense. He forced a smile back onto his face. Come on everybody, relax. I got this. The old man suddenly shouted. No, you do not. Ethan ignored him completely. He bounced lightly on his feet and raised his fists. Years of training had built confidence inside him. He had beaten champions. He had stood in rings under bright lights. He had heard crowds scream his name. In his mind this was already over. He stepped forward fast. Too fast. He reached out toward the guard's shoulder with a cocky grin on his face. And then, nobody understood what happened. No dramatic fight. No exchange of punches. No spinning kick. Nothing people expected. The guard moved once. Just once. A movement so small some people almost missed it. One step. One turn. One motion. Ethan's eyes suddenly went wide. His feet left the ground. For a split second his body twisted sideways in the air. Then boom. His back slammed against the hard pavement. The sound echoed across the entire place. Phones dropped. People screamed. One of Ethan's friends nearly fell backward. The cameras shook violently. Nobody could process what they had just seen. Because the entire thing had ended almost before it started. And Ethan lay there staring at the sky with complete shock written across his face. Then the old man slowly closed his eyes and whispered. I tried to warn him. What do you think shocked Ethan more? The pain of hitting the ground? Or realizing he never even saw the move coming? Comment below, because what happened after Ethan stood up was even crazier than the fall itself. Ethan stayed on the ground staring into the sky. The entire place had become silent. No laughter. No cheering. No talking. Only shocked faces. His chest rose and fell quickly as he tried to understand what had happened. He had trained for years. He knew punches. He knew kicks. He knew movement. But this felt impossible. Slowly he sat up. His friends ran toward him. Bro, are you okay? Bro, say something. Ethan ignored them. His eyes stayed locked on the tomb guard. The guard had already returned to his position. No celebration. No pride. No victory pose. Nothing. Like nothing had happened at all. That hit Ethan harder than the fall itself. For the first time in a long time he felt something unfamiliar. Embarrassment. Then he remembered the cameras. Millions of people would see this. Millions. He slowly stood up. The crowd watched every second. Some expected him to get angry. Some expected him to start shouting. Some thought he would blame the guard. But Ethan did something nobody expected. He walked toward the tomb guard again. The crowd gasped. The old man looked terrified. Then Ethan stopped a few feet away. Lowered his head. And quietly said, I was wrong. I thought strength meant proving I was stronger than everyone else. I thought respect had to be earned from me. But I forgot something. Real strength does not need attention. Real strength does not need cameras. Real strength stays silent. The old man smiled. People around him looked stunned. Even Ethan's friends lowered their cameras. Then the tomb guard looked at Ethan for 1 second and gave the smallest nod. That tiny movement shocked Ethan more than being thrown to the ground. Because in that moment he understood something. The strongest man there was never the one trying to prove it. Months later Ethan uploaded a video. Not with a fake title. Not with loud music. Not with drama. Only one sentence on the screen. The day I learned respect. And that video became the biggest one of his life. If you were Ethan, would you have apologized in front of everyone or walked away? And what is stronger in your opinion? Power or respect? Comment below if you watched until the end.